It's a brand new week. That means we have 55 minutes of doing business every single working day of this week, beginning from today. Welcome to Business Incorporated. Here's what we have prepared for you. Our President Bola Tinubu is in China. We'll give you updates of his activities there. It's no longer news that NNPCL is owing suppliers. What does it mean to you? A new challenge in Rwanda. Agritech is what they call it, and the funding is about $2 million. Good afternoon, I'm Ini John Rekwa. This is Business Incorporated. We start from the global space. Gold prices we see dipped on Monday as the dollar strengthened while investors await key U.S. jobs data to firm their bets on the size of Federal Reserve's interest rate cut that's expected this month. Finally, we're in September. Take a look at the numbers. We see red beginning with for spot gold, 0.3%, $2,494.76. Looking at it there, we see that it has lost that 2,500 level for spot gold, but it's still retaining that for U.S. gold futures unchanged at $2,527.20. Look at others at this time, other metals. Well, we have to tell you that the dollar hit a near 2-week peak, making greenback price bullion less appealing to those holding other currencies. So we see the other metals. Spot silver follows in the red line this afternoon, 1.5% down, $28,041. Platinum is up 0.3%, $928.50, while palladium is up 0.17%, $966.43. The Fed is expected to kick off a rate cutting cycle this month, September. Traders are pricing in about 6 or 9% chance of having a 25 basis point cut and a 31% chance of a 50 basis point cut. Now we come to Nigeria and see the Nigerian Economic Summit Group that says that there are economic challenges, but there are also opportunities. And they had this conversation at the meeting with private sector, looking at or dissecting the shape or the shapings of the country's future. And according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Dr. Tayo Delujo, Nigeria is on a growth trajectory. However, he believes that food inflation must be tackled to ensure sustainability. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group is reviewing the first half of 2024 at this meeting with the private sector. The group believes that the 68 basis point gross domestic product growth to 3.19% in the second quarter of the year, compared with 2.51% recorded in the corresponding period a year earlier, shows good signs. The panel here believes that the number could have been better if threats to supply of food were handled.
As it is with barley, there's a similar opportunity if we can grow it locally. And we've tried to do that. We've actually kicked off that endeavor in Jigawa, in Kano, a number of the northern states. But what our challenge has been that the best and the most optimal locations for growing barley are inaccessible. And they're so inaccessible because of the insecurity.
Challenges motivate innovation, and this has happened in dealing with security.
Everybody these days tends to be in charge of their own security, as it were. So what you work with is we have local vigilantes. We'll tell the people in the community that, listen, this is your community. This is where we're farming. So it's incumbent upon you to make sure that your security is important, as important to us, must be important to you. So we have about 35,000, outgrowers who work with us, but we have local vigilantes who take charge of that security system, or the security architecture in that area. Again, government supports with the military and of course the police.
Food supply is not the only focus. Issues hindering rapid economic development, as well as key considerations and the way forward for implementing the essential reforms needed to catalyze Nigeria's economic transformation also makes up the agenda. At the end, the NESG believes that Nigeria has bright chances.
We are on a growth trajectory. Lots of work is required, especially because the sectors that historically were drivers of growth have slowed down still due to macro pass-through risks that were encountered due to macroeconomic volatility. More importantly, to signal going forward that government needs to double down on the big structural reforms. Agriculture and food security remains priority number one.
The tips and optimism shared here is expected to reflect in the results of the second half of 2024. The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria has inducted 741 new members into its fold, and it was at a ceremony in Lagos, southwest Nigeria. The president of CIBN, Professor Pius Olaniwaju, says the induction and award ceremony is a call for excellence in banking operations towards efficiency and customer satisfaction.
741 new members inducted by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, during its 2024 second stream induction in Lagos. With the theme of the program Unlocking Your Potentials, Positioning for Next Levels, the message of ethics and professionalism in banking operations and excellence towards efficiency and customer satisfaction was emphasized by the president of CIBN, Professor Pius Olaniwaju.
As from this moment, they are now the goodwill ambassador of our great institute, and they should represent the institute where they are going. And thank God for the message. The key message every one of them should tell you is that they should continue to sparkle. You know, we believe that the challenges are there in the ecosystem, but if they are determined, if they are forceful, if they continue to improve their intellect and everything, they will achieve greater results.
Olaniwaju noted that the banking industry is rapidly evolving with new technologies reshaping the foundations of financial services. Thus, the need for continuous learning for professional growth, networking, and career advancement.
You know, professionalism, integrity, you know, in the system. And I also admonish them that one of the pivotal way of making a great exploit in your career path is for you to be ethical in whatever you are doing.
Celebrate success on this level, the challenge of practicing lessons taught and the aim of making a difference to excel in the financial industry lies ahead for them.
Let's go to the oil and gas sector. Prices extended losses on Monday, with investors weighing higher OPEC Plus production from October against a sharp drop in output from Libya amid sluggish demand in China and the United States. These are two of the world's biggest consumers. Brent crude futures fell. It lost 57 cents, that's about 0.7%, to $76.36 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures slipped 50 cents, that's also about 7.7%, to $73.05 a barrel. The losses followed a 0.3% decline for Brent last week and 1.7% drop for WTI. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and their allies, that's OPEC Plus, is set to proceed with a planned oil output hike from October. 8 OPEC Plus members are scheduled to boost output by 180,000 barrels every day in October, as part of a plan to begin unwinding their most recent layer of output cuts of 2.2 million barrels per day, while keeping other cuts in place until the end of 2025. In Libya, the Arabian Gulf Oil Company has resumed outputs at up to 120,000 barrels per day to meet domestic needs, while exports are still halted. And after a standoff between factions shocked most of the country's oil fields. We're staying on that and following the admittance of the NNPCL as to owing oil suppliers in Nigeria, as well as the persistent queues at petrol stations in the country. This morning, we talked about this with the Chief Executive Officer of Flame Consulting, Mr. Ojo Demezwe, and he proposes some strategies and buffers for times like this.
How do we move forward? Do we go back to engaging major oil and gas trading companies like Oando and the rest of them, who also have the capacity to find these products and then find a decent and transparent way to handle those gaps in prices? Because in my own view, it might become very difficult to increase prices again right now, even though that's the eventual reality. But because of the way the subsidy was removed quite suddenly, even though it's a very bold policy that we must commend this government for, but there were not structures on ground to remediate or soften the effect on people. We have thought that by now, government should be engaging seriously with all the labor groups and everybody to see how we can provide reasonable palliatives. For example, apart from allowances and minimum wage that has been done quite commendable, even though some of us have our opinions about that amount of 60,000. How can federal government, use some of the gains we've got so far, gains in quote, because it's still a net loss? How can we use that to bring the cost of transportation down? Because the major mode of transmission to inflation is cost of transportation. Energy cost, brings about, and not just transportation, but energy usage in the country. But if we want to deal with the transportation, how can government begin to work with private sector to provide incentivized movement, low-cost movement, apart from train, but buses in all 774 local governments in this country, adequate route being covered, and of course with the other systems we have in place, there won't be excessive cost of movement. But once that happens, even the Gary producer, the farmer in the village will double their prices, which is what we have been experiencing so far. So while NNPC is dealing with this price issue, let's engage on these palliatives before we can now expect that the prices held at 568 or so by NNPC, and of course 600 and something and more than that by other stations, can begin to moderate or be discovered at a better level.
So that's it, some suggestions there for harsh times such as this. Let's take a break now. When we come back, there are other segments. Really interesting conversations are waiting you on the other side. Of course, beginning with the markets with Annuity Edit. After the break, please stay with us. Welcome back. Still watching Business Incorporated on Channels Television. We head to the markets now with Aniti Edet. Aniti, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Nini, and happy new month.
Happy new month to you.
And of course, the first trading day of September, the last month for the third quarter. We've all been looking out for that month, September, to remember. So, but first, let's talk about the intraday numbers, which ended coming off from what the month of August ended. So the market was able to sustain the 96,000 level, which it left the month of August, which was it ended the last trading day of August up by 0.63%. But at intraday, the market is up more than 0.25%, 0.33% at 96,898.37, and trying to get its way back, warm its way back into the 97,000 level, and if possible, before the end of the year, go back to the 100,000 level, which we had seen earlier, a couple of months ago. So, but this is so far for the market. And then the JSE, which is the lone loser at intraday for the start of September trading session for markets all across the world, 0.46% down at intraday and then of course it has dropped below the 84,000 points, which we saw sometime last week at 83,363.63. The threes have it there across this number here for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange All-Share Index at intraday. And for the other sides of the market, EGX 30, that's for Egypt, you see it at 0.11%. Intraday, 30,000, and almost going back into the 31,000 level, which we had seen some time ago. And for the Nairobi Stock Exchange, for the close of Friday, 0.232%. Still, that's the smallest amount of number here. All the rest are in the thousands, while this is just in the hundreds of points, just about slightly higher than 100 points. Now, let's talk about Nigeria's stock markets. First, we're reviewing the month of August, which we saw the market down by 1.22%, and at the same time, the number of the value of returns has dropped all the way from what we saw. We had seen about 39.8% year to date, but that has been trimmed down all the way to about 29.1%. And then we'll be talking about more about the month of August and what to look out for in this month of September. And to give us more insights and analysis on that, let's bring in Peter Abe, Dr. Peter Abe, equity trader with Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers. Thank you for joining us, Peter.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, so Dr. Peter, quite a lot to chew in the month of August, where we saw 50 stocks were down, 64 were up. And of course, this is the first time that we see since April that the markets ended the month in the red, 1.22%. We'll be showing that on the board there. So now, can you give us a brief highlights of all the activities where we saw large cap companies bringing this market into the red for the close of August?
All right, so like you mentioned, month to date, the whole share index lost 1.22%. If we look at the breakdown of the sectors that performed during the month, banking was positive, gained 6.96%. Consumer was also positive for the month, 4.3%. Oil and gas also gained 22% during the month, and insurance. I think the lagging sector was industrial, which lost 13.06%. I think we could really see, some drop in some names in that sector, and that affected the all-share index for the year. So, for the month. So overall, if you look at just one sector really lag behind, it's really impacted the ASI for the month of August.
Okay, so Dr. Peter, you were talking about the industrial goods counter, where we see the big giants there, the Dangote Cement is there, Bua Cement is there, Lafarge is there. So what could be the reason why these components of the industrial goods sector, what could be the reason for their decline?
Well, if you have been following most of these consumer names and industrial, the challenges have been issue of the losses being made on the back of their foreign exchange loan, I think in terms of valuation of their loans. So I think if you look at most of these names, and I mean, as we get more numbers coming in from consumer as well as industrial, we'll begin to see most of these losses coming in from this sector. So at the end of the day, the investors look at these losses and also the strategies that are being put in place by these companies and how soon they will be able to turn around the losses and make gains. So there will be initial reactions like we have seen in the industrial and just a tiny gain of 4% in consumer. But we feel that as consumers see more of the strategies of these companies, we expect a good turnaround in these names.
Okay, so Peter, Dr. Peter, so that takes me to my final question with you. The bank recapitalization is still very much in the news since it was announced at the end of March. And then, of course, we're gradually climbing into the final months of 2024. And we see the banking index is down year to date 4.46%. Now, what is your outlook for this counter in the month of September? And what are we to expect further from this industry?
Okay, so like you mentioned, the banking names are recapitalizing at the moment. In the month of August, GTCO closed their public offer, and Fidelity as well. Zenith is still up, and FCMB. So if you look at all these names, especially as Zenith released their H1 numbers on last week Friday, which was positive. So going forward, I think it's a positive one. The whole essence of this recapitalization is to ensure that they have enough funds to meet the needs of their clients as well as the economy as a whole. So going forward, I think it will be positive as more of these capitals are raised and also deployed into the economy.
Okay, that's a wonderful outlook. And we just hope that your optimism, it will come in line with the market realities. Thank you so much for your time on our show, Dr. Peter.
Thank you for having me.
That was Dr. Peter Abe, stockbroker with IBTC Stockbrokers. Now, the Middle East is our center focus this time. And of course, starting off the month of September, all positives for the Middle Eastern stock markets, starting first with the Dubai index there on the United Arab Emirates, 0.68% at intraday, 4,355.02%. We see lots of bargain hunting by investors there because at some point we had seen the market being in the red sometime in between the middle of the week last week. But investors are trying to do some bone picking there and put their money where their mouth is. The same is also for the Abu Dhabi index, which is gradually climbing into the 10,000 points, 0.41% at intraday. And for the other sides of the markets in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia's Tadawul index 12,191.10% point at just a tad there in the green, 0.01% at intraday, while the Qatari Stock Exchange index, which was the biggest gainer at intraday, 1.01% at intraday, 10,033.47 points for that market. And we hope that will continue into the close of the day's session. And then from there, we move to the United States, where stock futures were in the red after closing the last trading day of August in the greens, because the S&P 500, as well as the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the NASDAQ futures, they had gained. Year to date, they're still very much in the positive, but by just some slim margins. But at intraday, or not really intraday, for the stock futures before the market opens across the world by 2:30, the market is in the red, pointing to that negative start for the month of September. Dow Jones Industrial Average 0.01%, S&P 500 0.15%, almost the same level, just in the units of percent declines. And finally, for the markets in Asia, we see also just slightly positive performance there. Nikkei has been able to get back into the 38,000 level. It had briefly touched the 39,000 level, which although it even had reached about 40,000 level, went down, but still struggling to get back to that point which it left a couple of weeks ago. For the South Korea's Kospi index, 0.25%, Hang Seng index, 1.65% for the close of Monday's trading session, start of September, and for the other sides of the Asian markets, Shanghai, and for the Australia's ASX 200, also bringing out that positive numbers there. So for the close of Monday, Asian markets are slightly positive, but we don't know how Nigeria's stock market will get to start the first trading day of September.
Well, at least we'll see a positive intraday. Hopefully, we'll see a positive close for the first trade. We see it's a healthy recovery we see there, getting close to 97,000. So hopefully that will be sustained.
Yeah, we'll keep that positive optimism. So I'm looking out for it. You'll be on the markets.
Yeah,
will be.
Yeah, I'll be on the market.
Okay, right. We'll look out for it. Thank you.
All right, we're talking about Asia now. Our President Bola Tinubu, is in Asia, China to be precise. So let's find out what he's been doing. I think he spent about 24 hours there. And thankfully, we do have our London correspondent with him right there, Juliana Olayinka, to give us updates what's in. Juliana, outdoor today. Good to see you. How's China and what has been going on with the presidents right there?
Ini, I've got to say good evening. It is good to see you. I'm 7 hours in front of you, so I'm not as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as you are, but it has been a very significant day. Of course, we know that His Excellency, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, arrived in Beijing yesterday for two things, really. Of course, there's that all-important state visit with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, a really fundamental meeting of two great minds, two powerhouses in the world. And this state visit, which I believe kicks off officially tomorrow, is seen as an opportunity to reset economic ties. We know that China over the past several years, in fact decades, have invested significantly in the Nigerian economy, particularly in railways and ports, which was the basis of lots of the discussions that were held today. Predominantly today, I've got to say, was mainly the business community. Perhaps later in the day, there'll be some images showing significant deals signed by the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as well as the Kaduna State Governor, Uba Sani. But I think tomorrow is when we're going to see things kick off proper, when later in the afternoon, I believe it's probably going to be between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. local time, that the president will be with Xi Jinping. And as I say, this is very fundamental, not just for Nigeria and Africa, but of course for China. We know that geopolitics has changed significantly over the past couple of years, especially because we've got two raging wars, one in Europe, of course, which we've discussed extensively between Russia and Ukraine, but also in the Middle East. And quite frankly, for Africa and China, they are observers in this war, but they also play a significant role in shaping the future of global geopolitics. So I think it's really important and great timing for the president to be here to speak with Xi Jinping, and hopefully we'll be able to bring back a significant investment, particularly, as I said, in infrastructure, technology, and also within critical minerals too.
Yeah, you can say that again, Juliana, because I mean, a lot of Nigerians are expectant. We hear there's going to be MOU signed between both countries. We know there was that currency swap, which was supposed to ease businesses or operations for businessmen. And then, of course, there's the Belt and Road, which Africa as a whole hopes to get more funding. So we do hope that as you keep your ears close to the ground, we would hear some updates from some of these very important areas as the president visits China.
Oh, absolutely, Annie. You know, the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, which is the main reason why African heads of state are in Beijing, is going to be crucial to discussing the evolution of the Belt and Road Initiative and investments coming through to the critical power sector, as well as in infrastructure and technology. We've got the Minister for Digital Economy here, Bosun Tijani. He was speaking this morning at Huawei, and it does appear, at least from the optics, that the mood music around this Nigerian delegation is very, very positive. Again, of course, we know that Nigeria have been seeking funding and financing from China for several years now, but China too is also in need of significant amounts of investment in their own capacity, particularly when it comes to human power and manpower, and the fact that we have so many really bright, talented young individuals desperate for work. I think that was a critical issue that was mentioned earlier this morning. But again, I think once the forum does actually kick off on Wednesday, we will start to get some more significant sound bites and lines coming out of the presidency in terms of expectations, because of course, this may only be the second official state visit from the president, but we've been around the world a lot, and I think we've gone past the stage now, haven't we, Annie, of just talking or going begging for financing and funding. We need solutions. We want to see this implemented. We want to see it trickling down. We don't just want to see large delegations. So I think tomorrow we'll have more of a better understanding of what exactly is going to be achieved during that one-on-one between President Xi and President Tinubu. And that kicks off, as I said, about 5 p.m. local time, which is just in time for your business show in the morning, Annie.
Yeah, aren't we so lucky that we'll get the first sound bite and all of that, Juliana, and we do trust you, obviously, to keep us updated. So thank you, Juliana, and do take care. Talk to you tomorrow.
I will talk to you tomorrow. Like I said, I'm 7 hours in front of you. So yes, that's why I'm not as...
Good night, Juliana. So I can say good night, Juliana.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you.
All right, so that's Juliana in China, updating us on the President Bola Tinubu's visit in that country. Tomorrow is a big day for that meeting, and we do hope to get a lot of good news that will be implemented in the nearest future. Let's leave Asia now and go to other African countries. The World Bank Group has appointed Kwimao Fan as the new country director for Kenya, Rwanda, Somalia, and Uganda. The country director will be responsible for the implementation of sector and project work and will report to the World Bank Regional Vice President along with World Bank's resident mission representatives. Fan is expected to manage the relation with the 4 borrowing member countries. It replaces Keith Hansen, who has held the post since September 2020. Fan has also served as the Director of Strategy and Operations for the Equitable Growth and Finance, as well as Director of Strategy and Operations in the Office of the Managing Director for Development and Policy. Now in Zimbabwe, the Reserve Bank of that country has erected 2 more structures which will work towards stabilizing the new Zimbabwe gold currency. It's called the ZiG. The developments come at a time when the local unit has suffered heavy blows on the parallel market, with premiums reaching as much as $1 to 20 ZiG. Traditionally, local markets have maintained sensitivity to parallel market dynamics, which are also the determining factor of inflation. Presenting the midterm monetary policy review statement, they revealed that the Liquidity Management Committee, made up of Central Bank and Finance Ministry officials, had put in place assets to assess the liquidity situation and implement relevant policies. The Apex Bank also established a Monetary Policy Implementation Monitoring and Evaluation Committee, and that's supposed to keep track of the key indicators to promptly identify emerging risks and ensure timely response by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And still right there, we go to Rwanda, where Rwanda has embarked on the implementation of a fund dubbed Hunger Agri-Tech Innovation Challenge Fund. And this is supposed to support agri-tech entrepreneurs. The fund, which will finance agriculture technologies, is among the products that will be launched. Rwanda is marking strides in matters of agriculture technology with the launch of this Hunger Agri-Tech Innovation Challenge Fund, which is a $2 million facility that aims to tackle food challenges and foster innovation in Eastern African country. The fund is set to drive financial and technical support for agriculture technology startups And this is according to the Chief Technical Advisor in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources. The fund was established in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources as well as the World Bank. It's crypto time, and today crypto has a fairly different phase. We told you about SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, approving 2 licenses. One of those was for Quidax. Today we have a representative of Quidax. Well, not just any representative, it's the director of partnerships from Quidax. Is right here in the studio, Ezichim Onyaga. Ezichim, good afternoon and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Ini.
Yeah, I mean, the crypto community, we've been talking about this, and the crypto community has been so excited that this perhaps is the path to actually getting legal status in Nigeria when you talk about digital assets. But tell us, how long did it take you to get here?
Yes, thank you again for having me on the show. It's been a very long journey for us. It's over 6 years since we started to talk with the regulators, the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's been a very long ride, but we're glad we're here. From the beginning, we knew that we're eventually going to get regulated by the SEC. We planned for it, so it's not a surprise that the pieces of the puzzle are starting to add up. We knew the importance of being regulated, especially for crypto and emerging technology. We know that investors' confidence is a very big part of succeeding in the financial markets. So we engaged right from the beginning, and we're here. Thank you very much to the Securities and Exchange Commission as well for giving us all the support to this stage.
So what's next now? What does this mean for those already in the community and those who are not in the community? What does this license mean?
So Quidax and most digital asset exchanges play a unique role in the crypto world. We're fortunate to interact with every stakeholder, from regulators to investors, and to institutional partners as well, right? So with all this information, we were very, very instrumental to driving the adoption of cryptocurrency, and we don't take it lightly. We have a lot of initiatives in place, and we have designed our product and Quidax as a company to cater to making it easy for users, making it easy for the government and regulators to understand what crypto is. It's not something to be afraid of. It's not
something that takes away the value of our naira, because every time the naira loses value, we see it seems regulators are looking the way of the crypto community.
Yes, that's expected with any new technology, especially so in financial technology, because it's people's money, it's people's capital, and no one wants to lose their shirt, right? Think about any new emerging technology. Think about the internet. When it first started, it looked scary and intimidating, but over time, players simplified. And that's what is at the heart of Quidax, to simplify the concept of cryptocurrency and to make everyone understand its use cases.
So help our viewers understand what this is about. Cryptocurrency, digital assets, now there's a license, you are trying to get investors and all of that. What is all this about, and what are the opportunities, realistic opportunities for individuals?
Okay, so a digital asset is simply a store of value in a digital form, right? So think about it as money, think about it as currency, but just in digital form, right? It's a store of value. We once used to use cowries as a medium of exchange. We once used to use produce, barter, as a medium of exchange. But the world has evolved beyond that to paper money and now to digital assets, right? So at the stage of cryptocurrency now, it has numerous use cases, especially so for the African individual. We've seen very strong use cases around investment, right? Holding crypto, trading it, making money. That's one use case. Another strong use case we've seen also is the ease of payment. Crypto has been very useful, especially from the African point of view, for being connected to the global economy. For example, one of our co-founders used to be a freelancer, right? He used to be a software engineer for a foreign company. And for years, he struggled with getting paid by this company in Silicon Valley. And the easiest way to solve that was with Bitcoin. He couldn't onboard to an international bank. They wouldn't accept him because he was Nigerian, right? But crypto does not discriminate. So he was being paid in Bitcoin, and he was sitting on all of this Bitcoin. I was looking for a way to move into Naira and to spend. And that's how Quidax was born, out of that need. Started on a WhatsApp group, trading crypto for Naira, trading Naira for crypto, Bitcoin at the time. And today we see that use case exploding around Africa. We have influencers, TikTok influencers, YouTube influencers who receive payments in Bitcoin and are able to spend it. So beyond investments, beyond the ease of paying anyone in the world, we see crypto transforming the way we engage and interact with the global financial economy.
But it does seem that Quidax will have a lot of reorientation to do. We know that this distrust, for instance, it costs the peer-to-peer button to be, put off in some exchanges. I don't know if they are back. Maybe you could update us on how you do hope to get back those P2P, which makes it easy for a lot of Nigerians to interact or transact in the different crypto platforms.
Yeah, I think so. What the regulators have done is okay, right? I think regulation is discussion, and it's everybody's interest at the end of the day, right? So the initial plan where P2P was delisted was actually in the interest of everyone, including us, including the businesses, including the users, including the citizens, right? So it was a good move, and that actually has brought us here. But we're very grateful to our regulators as well for being proactive and being forward-thinking and also working with us towards creating this new regulation. So this framework solves that. Everyone has clarity on what crypto is, its uses, and its benefits, not just for me as an individual trader, but for the nation as well, because it plugs us to the global economy as a country, right? So it's a net positive for Nigeria, it's a net positive for crypto users. It's also a net positive for the crypto economy in general.
So you see a situation where normal business transactions adopt crypto. I know you just gave an example of your co-founder and all of that, but do you see people actually turning to crypto for transactions?
Yes, 100%. We're starting to see some traction in that regard. We're starting to see institutions indicate higher interest in crypto, right, for various uses, for what the uses we just mentioned, for speed, right? Right now, think about going to the bank to do an international transfer. You think about the pain, you think about the time it takes, right? But one benefit that crypto has for businesses is the speed. And that speed does not remove security or does not de-emphasize regulation, right? So there's speed and security. As a matter of fact, cryptocurrency was built on the premise of security, right?
A lot of people will argue with that. Binance has a lot of trouble going on in different places. When you talk about security, so you would have to convince your would-be customers as to the issue of security to gain their trust on your platform.
Absolutely. It's a prominent issue for us. I think even in financial services in general is a prominent issue. In the banks, anyone that's holding customers' funds, security is a priority. And for us at Quidax as well, it's something that we do not joke with. We have policies securing customers' funds, not just funds, securing customers' information as well, because information is the new gold, right? So customers can be rest assured that when they're interacting with crypto in Nigeria, their details are safe, their transactions are executed in the most secure manner according to global standards.
So how do people start this? Okay, I've heard you, Quidax. I want to give you a chance. What do I do? Where do people start from?
Okay, we've made it very easy to dive into the crypto world. At the heart of what we do is make crypto simple and relatable for the everyday person. You don't have to be a finance guru to trade cryptocurrency. My grandmother trades cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Yeah. It took me 2 hours to introduce her and show her around the app. So what we've done is build Quidax around that persona. First time user, doesn't know much about crypto, wants to learn crypto, understand it, and benefit from it. So we designed our app, our web platforms to consider that user in mind, and also the savvy investors as well. We have different products that cater to them as well.
So people just have to download your app? Is that
Yeah,
all
so
you're
just
saying?
we're on the Apple Store, we're on the Google Play Store as well. You can download, just search Quidax, download us on those apps. You can also access us on the web, on the internet as well. We have a web platform. Or you can give me a call or send me an email, and I can get you started.
Your call?
Sorry?
They can call you on?
Yes, you can call me on, okay, this is my number. Yes, you can call me on 070-3737-0715. My name is Ezichim, and I work with Quidax.
And the email? You said they could
My
also
email as well is aezicim@quidax.com.
Okay, so anybody reaches you there, they can get more information on
100%.
how to. I wonder if you have incentives, to attract people coming on board and all.
Absolutely. We have a lot of bonuses for first-time users. We have, just beyond even just giving out bonuses, sign-on bonuses, we have Academy for walking people through, introducing them to crypto, right? That's something that we found has been very valuable for a lot of our users, right? Periodically, we have also rewards. When you bring people on as well, we extend some rewards to them too.
Oh, I'm sure that's very necessary at this time, being the entry stage for a lot of Nigerians. Well, thank you so much. And once again, congratulations on, getting your license. I know it's been a while. Quidax, Director of Partnerships at Quidax, Ezichim Muyanga. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
All right, so it's crypto time, and new things are happening. There was a time that we could not talk about this freely. There's talking about the licenses and all of that, but now I bet we can. We can actually say congratulations to Quidax, and of course, if you're interested, you can follow up with them. And consultation is always necessary. You don't have to take our word for it. You can go to their websites, get the information, make the call, do the scrutiny that you need to do for you to be able to get that. Now, another big thing that has happened in the crypto space today is Jotter coin. Yes, Brain Jotter is it done with being a comedian? Well, he has become the very first celebrity in the country to launch. Sorry about that. That was one of our producers. You caught him right on camera. So he has become, Jotter coin has become one of our very first celebrity in the country to launch charity token on the Tone network, and it's Jotter coin. There you have it. It's been launched, and we're here. Well, I don't know what he's doing right now, but I hope we can get Rume Ofi to tell us what's going on with that. But first of all, let's look at the price before we go there. Let's look at the Bitcoin price at this time. Can we have the price? There you have it. So Bitcoin is down to 58, even dropped from 59,000 a level to now 58. Ethereum is down, as well as BNB, Cardano. Everybody's down this Monday. I wonder what happened over the weekend. We have Rume Ofi now to tell us more about this. Hi, Rume. Good afternoon. What happened over the weekend? Where did all the green and plus go to? Hello, Rume.
All right, Edie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, so I was asking, where did you guys take the gains to? We're now seeing a minus on almost all the major coins.
All right, I think fresh money is no longer coming into crypto. A lot of persons are scared for their life savings, scared for their crypto gains, scared for some of the losses. And it's only natural when fresh monies are not coming. You may hear some narrative, some buzz here. Oh, the Ton ecosystem. Oh, the Solana for speed, blah, blah, blah. But there are no fresh money coming in. A whole lot of the global economy today looking for some kind of relief, but the market is not getting it. You see what is going on in the US. Inflation is still very strong, despite talking about cutting of rates. That doesn't really mean that the entire crypto market is going to have a kumbaya moment. We're seeing the situation whereby risky asset going to be hit, so to say. If you ask me, the worst is yet to come. A couple of us will most likely see it as maybe a prophet of doom, but it has been, I think I've been consistent with some of the challenges that are coming to the market, and they've played out. A couple of persons, they were saying this is a bull market, and I said, no, I think I have a contrary idea to this. And look at how the market has been fluctuating between the 50s to the 70,000 for about 23 weeks, and it's a whole lot to freak someone out.
But that's not enough to deter brain Jotter. We hear his launch, his token. I think, how is it doing now?
All right. So the brain Jotter celebrity is a trend that is going on. And I find it very worrisome. And I'm going to urge the Security and Exchange Commission, the DG is doing fantastically well. Dr. Momotimi Agama, he should weigh in on this. We have previously that of Davido's coin, which the SEC came out brilliantly to give a disclaimer that Nigerians should stay away from tokens like this. And this is actually up again. And what we are hearing in the market right now, the market that the coin actually pumped significantly with its hard cap of about $100,000 plus. But right now, the value of the coin has dropped to just $1. That is no liquidity in the market right now. The liquidity has gone down to $1. Also, some of the evidence that we've gathered shows that the contract address of the initiators of this project actually, in less than 30 minutes, took liquidity out. What does that suggest? A rug pull. You put out a project out there for people to eventually patronize. A couple of these celebrities actually came in to endorse these brain Jotters token, and I doubt if they understand what exactly they are endorsing, because at the end of the day, when the law comes to play, they are going to call all of them for questioning. It happened in the US. The Kim Kardashians, they got themselves involved in some of the things, and they pay some huge fines in millions. So if you are saying that you are going to be endorsing any crypto project, or you're going to be launching any crypto project in the future, you have to be very, very careful. This has sent another shockwave to the market. Nigeria is an place of order. This industry, we have been keeping it with its tenets and ethics for now, while even projecting for regulation. And the regulations are here. Some persons leaving their skits and their comedy coming to make joke out of our industry, something that we will not appreciate. People should stay away, and I'm urging the Security and Exchange Commission to come to investigate this issue and bring them to book.
Rumored, I don't know. Do I hear jealousy somewhere there? Is it because he's a comedian? He's not part of the community? Do I feel that sentiment anywhere?
I think there's no point going that route. The truth is, we see this industry as a brainchild to development of our tech industry. Some of these people don't understand. They see it from the aspect of, oh, I put in this amount of money here, I cash this amount of money out. We don't see it as a wild west risk narrative. We see this industry as something that can grow to become something really big, like the Silicon Valleys of this world. We can build a very strong crypto industry here and make it. That's why we have the likes of Quidax and everything that we're seeing in this industry. These are local based platforms that have actually springboarded to become international based. But if we allow people to just come in, to just do anything and get away with certain liquidity for some gains or for a lot of things, we are in for something really disastrous. So I believe the authorities know the key players in this industry, and these guys are not they are not involved in it. They are just here to just want to get something out of it and make a mess of it.
All right, Rume, that's why we have this program. We'd like to balance up everything and call the attention of the regulators. But thank you so much for sharing your view. I am sure that Agama is very proactive. We've seen the results in the licenses given. One of them, Quidax, we just finished having a conversation with. So I'm sure they'll swing into action, and then we'll see what follows up after that. But thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Ini. Always a pleasure.
All right, so that's it on the program. Thank you so much for being a part of this very first episode for this week and this month, September, of Business Incorporated. Hope it was worth your while. We promise to make it even better tomorrow. But I'll see you at 10 p.m. today for the stock market report. We're starting off on a green week. I really do hope that that's sustained. Ini John Mekwa?